I lost over 25 pounds eating more carbs than I ever thought possible. I want to share my story with you and hopefully help you understand if eating more carbs can help you lose weight and have more energy throughout your day. I am 50 years old and I'm now at the lowest weight I've ever been in my life. But not only that, I have more energy than I have had ever before. I used to not be able to make it through the day without feeling exhausted and having to take a nap, no matter how much sleep I got. But now I can go all day long. I can even do an evening workout and go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, wake up at 6 a.m., and do it all over again. I feel energized, my mind feels clear, and like I said, I'm eating more carbs than I ever have before. Let me share what's helped me, and hopefully, it can help you too get some clarity through all the noise that is out there. I'm Jessica Leibovich. I've been a nutritional chef for 25 years. I've also had a 25 plus pound weight loss at my late stage of life, and I've kept it off now for 7 years. And to be honest, that is the true sign of health. If you can maintain a weight loss and have energy, sleep well, have mental clarity, and be able to eat without depriving yourself. If you have to muscle your way through your workout, if you are fatigued, if you're not sleeping well, if you are depriving yourself and having food cravings, it doesn't matter what you weigh. That's a sign that your health is not optimal. I had always heard for years that you needed to avoid carbs to lose weight. And so that's what I did. For many years, I kept my carbs low, thinking that that was going to help me lose the weight. But what happened was I was feeling exhausted. I couldn't even make it through the day without a nap, let alone a workout. My feet and hands were cold all of the time, and my weight kept going up and up. In fact, I was at the highest weight I have ever been in my entire life, but I was obsessing over every single bite. It was embarrassing for me to admit because I was helping my clients be at peak performance, but I was exhausted, I was unhealthy, and I was overweight. When I started working closer with my macros, I realized that I actually needed to lower my fat and increase my carbs. I found this out through quite a bit of research. And at first, I was in disbelief. I thought, there's no way this can work. But I figured, what do I have to lose? I'm at the highest weight I've been. I'm going to give it a try. What happened was amazing. First of all, I could not even eat everything I was supposed to eat. I was full the first day I tried it. I hadn't had rice on my plate without guilt and shame in years. And so this alone felt like a win. What happened after that was even better. My cravings started to go down. Before eating a lot of carbs, my brain immediately went to what's for dessert after dinner, but I couldn't have dessert. It was a constant cycle of cravings, guilt, and shame. When I started implementing more single ingredient carbs in my diet, this all changed. I didn't have the same cravings as I did before. And if I did, I just allowed myself to have some fruit or a sweet treat that was low in fat. And this allowed me to be able to hit my macros without any guilt or shame. The weight started coming off pretty quickly. In fact, the first few months, I lost about 5 to 8 pounds. That was a huge win for me because my weight had been creeping up, and I was getting so frustrated. But the best part is that first year, I lost about 15 pounds, eating more food than I ever had been before, food that I thought was off limits. And I started to redefine what was healthy in my life. Before, I thought salmon, avocado, nuts were healthy. I realized that these foods were actually causing inflammation and weight gain in my diet. And I switched to things like sweet potatoes, rice, and fruit. And they satisfied my cravings. They were actually more enjoyable for me. And I had so much more variety in my diet. My energy came back. It was unbelievable. I had been going to the doctors for chronic fatigue for years, and they could not figure out what was wrong with me. They thought I needed to go on antidepressants because my dopamine was low. But in reality, my body was not fueled. So this is a huge wake up call. If any of you feel exhausted or you feel hungry all the time or you're having cravings all the time, most likely you need to make some adjustments in your macros or your diet. This is what I'm helping people with in my group, the Divine Body Blueprint. The 4 pillars I use are food, fitness, faith, and fasting. Through these 4 pillars, you can create strategic, ultimate health that is sustainable for life. The problem with the low carb diet is it does work initially and you will lose weight initially. And some people enjoy it. Some people find success on it long term. I've worked with enough people over the last 25 years to know that there are a small group of people that can stick with it. But for the most part, what I have found is people get burnt out and it's not sustainable long term. Or even if they stick with it long term, they start to have cravings. And the problem is they have a lot of guilt and shame around those cravings. We should be able to have a healthy relationship with food. And the higher carb, lower fat diet allows you to do that. So some of the things you would have on a higher carb, low fat diet are things like chicken sausage with half a bagel and fruit for breakfast. Maybe for lunch, you would have a tuna salad sandwich or a turkey sandwich. For dinner, you could have a filet mignon and potatoes. Chicken is always great. Fish is always great. Shrimp is always great. Beans are great if your gut can handle them. I love dense bean salads. They're some of my favorite things to make and have to eat throughout the week. But the thing is the variety is just opened up to you so much in this diet, and your body is fueled in a way that you can have healthy metabolism. And because of this, you can get through your workouts, which means you can train harder. You can take walks after your meal so you can regulate your blood sugar. You sleep better. You enjoy your life more, and it's sustainable long term. So if you've been struggling and you want to lose weight, but you feel like you don't know what to eat, a high carb, low fat diet may be the right option for you, because a lot of times people restrict carbs thinking they're bad for them. Honestly, fats have been glorified in today's society, and we have gotten out of control with them. Fats have 9 calories per gram, while carbs and protein have 4 calories per gram. So fats have over twice the amount of calories as the other 2 macros, and yet they are such a small part of most of our meals. If you are incorporating a lot of fat in your diet, it's much easier to go over on your calories, for your body to store fat and create oxidative stress, which then messes up your metabolism, causes fatigue, and over time is just not sustainable. If you want to learn more about this, please join my group, the Divine Body Blueprint on School. It's free lifetime access right now until I get the curriculum loaded. So it's a great time to join. We're having amazing conversations in there. People are sharing really great stuff. And the calls I'm sharing are really showing you how to create a strategy that is joyful to your life. Health is meant to be joyful and aligned. It is not meant to be stressful and hard work. In fact, when you see people who are disciplined, it may seem that you're just not as good as them or you can't do it. But a lot of times they're doing it in a way that's aligned and works for their life, or it's unsustainable. I've worked with enough people, professional athletes, VIP millionaires, single moms with cancer, all sorts of people to know that if somebody wants a strategy to work long term, it has to be aligned with their lifestyle. Nobody can force a round peg into a square hole. It just doesn't work. We have to make it work with our life. And that's why the method of higher carbs and lower fat was so beautiful for me, because it fit in my life perfectly. And I no longer had to force myself to do things that I didn't want to do. I no longer had to resist the intense cravings I had. I no longer had to battle food like I had before. So I want you to open up your mind and know that if you are struggling with making it through your workouts, If you feel fatigued throughout the day, if your weight is creeping up, try a single ingredient, higher carb diet. When we have single ingredients, our body is able to process them. Usually they are high fiber, they are fueling us, they are fueling our metabolism, and it actually helps us regulate our blood sugar in a way that we can't on our own. It is how we were meant to eat, eating from the earth, eating in a healthy way, and it's so joyful. I hope this information was helpful to you. If you like this video, please make sure you share, like, subscribe, join my free community, and until the next video, stay glowing.